Welcome to the Goodreads Choice Awards 2020 reading vlog. Hello, I am your host, JemilaBeReadin, and in this vlog, we will be reading some, but not all, of the Goodreads Choice Awards winners of 2020. Our first category is general fiction. The winner, Not Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed, like I voted for, but instead was The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, a magical realism type of story about a woman who ends up at a library that is perpetually stuck in midnight. Interesting. Our next category. What is our next category? Our next category, mystery thriller, is The Guest List by Lucy Foley, a twisting whodunit murder mystery type of story set in the Scottish, Irish, something in Europe. I'm losing my train of thought here. Our next category is historical fiction, the winner being The Vanishing Half by Brit, a multi-generational story taking a look at two twin sisters and what it means to pass in white America. Our penultimate category is horror, which is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia, a look at 1950s Mexico as a young woman goes to a strange old house in order to save her cousin. And finally, we have romance, and the winner is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, a story about a young woman who is known as the Maiden in this land, who is supposed to help with the ascension. She is not to be gazed upon. She is not to be touched. And then comes a man who guards her, and presumably there's romance. Interesting. Okay, hello. I know I look like a pimp. I'm not gonna lie. I know that's the vibes I'm giving off right now, but as you could see from that dramatic intro, am doing a reading vlog where I'm reading some of the Goodreads Choice Awards winners, seeing what they're about. Did they deserve to win? We'll find out, you know? I mean, I haven't read most of the other books in the categories that I chose, so really, like, am I giving it a fair shot? Not really. But anyways, that is what I'm going to be doing in this video. I will be reading it. I'll give you all my thoughts, and at the end, I will kind of wrap up this reading experience and see whether or not I thought the book was good, a good contender for winning, and yes. Let's move on to where I look more crusty, okay? Bye. Hello. Please excuse my crusty appearance. I mean, the hair, a mess. Baby hairs all over the place. And I'm not going to fix my hair, so y'all are just going to have to deal with that. I wanted to update y'all on my reading. I realized that I never actually said anything when I started From Blood and Ash, which that's the first book I read for this, and I finished it yesterday, in fact. So yeah, there's that. I didn't have a lot of thoughts per se while I was reading it, but now I have thoughts, so here I am talking to y'all about this. So From Blood and Ash was a wild ride. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was a lot more plot heavy than I thought it was gonna be. I would say maybe the breakdown is probably like 60% plot, 40% romance, which surprised me. I thought it was definitely gonna be more heavy on the romance, and it's like both good and bad that it's more plot heavy. One, because I mean, I feel like whenever I'm in a fantasy setting, regardless of what it's supposed to be doing, I'm going to be more intrigued by the plot and the world building and the character development. So in that respect, I appreciated that there was more than I was expecting plot-wise, but I think it hindered it a little bit because the world building was not great. To be quite honest, I don't really understand how anything works in this world. Like, I get the general premise, but I'm just left wanting more, And if this had been more of the romance focus, then plot focus, then I could have let that slide a little bit more, just because it's like, well, that's not the point. It's just a romance set against a fantastical setting. But this is very plot driven. There is an antagonist. There is corruption. There is a war. Like, there's like a lot of things going on. And yeah, so that's what I think about on that. The romance, though, between Poppy and Hawk, that made it seem like I was into Hawk. I'm not. That was a knowing glance about who Hawk is. But anyway, I don't buy their romance. I like the banter sometimes, but it's the same banter every time. And then inevitably Hawk says something extremely corny, and I'm cringing, and I don't like that. Writing is really corny. I don't want to like bash on this, because like overall, like I had a blast reading this book. Like I already put the second book on hold at my library. I'm in, okay? But it's corny. The writing is corny. It's very info dumpy at the beginning too, and I was like, oh my god. Not to mention, I kind of called the plot twist like 70 pages in. And not that would necessarily bother me, but I just would have expected a little bit more. Like, I just was sitting there just like waiting. Like, all right, like I know what's gonna happen. So like, let's get on with it. So that wasn't super fun. But yeah, anyway, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. 3 stars. There's definitely a lot of stuff that could be improved. And the ending, all right. We'll see what happens in the next book. But anyways, I haven't picked up anything else from the Goodreads Choice Awards books that I'm going to be reading. I ended up picking up like a random rom-com, which is unrelated, but I enjoyed that, so in case you were wondering. But I think I'm going to be picking up The Guest List by Lucy Foley next. One, because me and my friends also chose that for our like little book club, and I need to have that read by like next week, which I mean, I'll probably read it within the next day or two. It's gonna be interesting. I don't really read thrillers, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. I won't be able to necessarily compare it to any of the other thrillers because I haven't read them, but we'll see, we'll see. I'll check y'all in when I have something more interesting to say. So, deuces. Hello and good morning. It is now Wednesday, I believe. I'm lost. I have spent a lot of today thinking it was Tuesday, but it's not. Ooh, little curly boy. I just want to update y'all. I started The Guest List by Lucy Foley last night. I didn't get very far. I think I'm only like 10% of the way in, and my thoughts are, it's okay. I don't really have any thoughts. I haven't gotten to the part where like the murder has happened. I think there's supposed to be a murder. I don't know. That hasn't happened yet, so I'm not like fully invested. But it's fine so far. There is multiple POVs, and so far I don't know that the author has done a good job of really giving them their own respective personalities. It's all in first person, so they're saying I, and I don't know that I've been able to distinguish without knowing from the title who the POV is. But again, I'm not very far, so we'll see how that goes. Good morning. I feel like I keep coming to y'all looking crusty, but it is who I am. I fell asleep in my makeup. My hair is a mess. It is what it is, and I probably could have waited until I got ready, but whatever. Anyways, it is Thursday now. I meant to film an update yesterday, but it was kind of a busy day, so I didn't get the chance, and I didn't really read anything at all yesterday. But I did finish The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and okay, I see you thriller fans. I understand, perhaps. I won't deny the first 40% of the book, I was just sitting here like, Miss Foley, where is this going? What's happening? Nothing's happening. What is happening? And then we hit that 50% mark, and it's like I'm being tossed around. Okay, I'm being tossed around. I'm on a roller coaster. I was shook. I was shook and shook and shook. I did not see all of these twists coming, even though in hindsight, I see the groundwork that was being laid. Maybe someone who is less dense than me, a little bit cleverer than I, would have put all of that together. But for me, who doesn't read thrillers and doesn't really try to figure things out while I'm reading, I was shook. I was very shook. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the book. I gave it 4 stars. Maybe 4.5. I don't know, but I see it. I see Miss Foley, and I'm interested in her other work now, and I'm interested in furthering my thriller reading experience. But anyways, I'm trying to decide what book I want to read next. I think I might do The Vanishing half next. I'll probably start that today, hopefully, so I will update y'all when I have more on that. Hello, I am here in my Akatsuki bonnet. If you're interested, I got it from Bonnet Box. She got the hookup with all of the anime related bonnets, and it's so soft and smooth, and just get on it, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to come and update y'all. I am about 100 pages into The Vanishing half, and you know, I'm kind of feeling indifferent towards it right now. I don't have a lot of thoughts. Nothing has really happened, you know. And I don't really care about any of the characters, to be honest. I don't know. I'm interested to see where this is gonna go, but I'm feeling kind of about it, which is kind of disappointing because I was very excited for this one, and obviously it's getting, you know, a lot of, well-deserved accolades, but I'm feeling kind of about it right now, but we'll see how that goes. Anyways, hello y'all. It is Tuesday morning. I feel like I'm not doing the best job of vlogging this reading experience, but to be quite honest, I'm either not reading or I'm like finishing the book or reading large chunks at a time, like in the middle of the night, so I don't really want to pick up my phone to film my thoughts. But I don't really remember the last time that I updated y'all. I think I was like maybe 100 pages into The Vanishing half, which I haven't read anymore since. I don't know. I don't dislike this book. I think I'm just like not in the right mood for it. I'm kind of feeling something a little bit more plot heavy, something a little bit more action based. I don't know. I have these 3 books left of this Goodreads challenge. So I have The Vanishing half, The Midnight Library, and Mexican Gothic. And of those 3, I think Mexican Gothic might be a little bit more of what I'm in the mood for. So I think I'm gonna just like put The Vanishing half down for now and read Mexican Gothic, just because, you know, I don't want to be in a reading slump. I want to continue reading, so I think I'm going to switch to Mexican Gothic for now, and then maybe slowly read The Vanishing half in between. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just like in a really big fantasy, like heavy world building, heavy plot mood right now, and none of the books for this challenge are that. So that's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. I still want to read these books, so I think I'm going to switch to Mexican Gothic. But yeah, I am here in my room. It's the second day of classes. I've started my spring semester. I'm very interested in all of these classes. I had an 8 a.m. class. Like, why? Why do professors want to teach at 8 a.m.? That is the question of the day, because I don't want to be awake at 8 a.m. Anyway, it's immigration law, so I'm super interested in it, so it's fine. And I really like the professor, so that's fine as well. I can make do. But now it's like 9:30ish. I'm done with class, and my next class is not until 5:30. So I just have like this 8-hour gap, which is kind of nice. I can get work done and read, and also I need to put captions on a video that's going up today. So that's nice. But yeah, right now I think I'm gonna make myself like a big breakfast. I'm kind of feeling it right now. So I'll catch y'all a little bit later when maybe I read some of Mexican Gothic and I can give my first impressions on that. So see ya. I'm finally here, not looking crusty, but I was filming some videos and I just realized I forgot some lipstick. I just filmed 3 videos with no lipstick on, which like is fine, but it would have completed the look, okay? I had this cute ass lipstick lined up and ready, and I forgot it. But anyway, since I'm already here ranting, let's talk about 8 a.m. classes. What is the reason? What was the reason?
What was the reason? What was the reason?
I don't understand who wants to be up teaching at 8 a.m. in a law class on that. Why do you want to be teaching that early? Not that I have a problem with my professor. She's great. And it's immigration law, so if there was any class that I was going to be awake before the sun rises to learn, it would be immigration law. And I don't think she wants to be up that early either. So my beef, I guess, is with the administration. Why are we up this early? That's my question. I don't understand why we need to be up this early. I am, quite frankly, upset. Can you imagine if I had to bust my ass to campus? It's like I am lucky that I'm doing classes from home because I live an hour away from campus. And if I had to bust my ass all the way there, what time would I have to wake up at? Like 5 in the morning? Ugh. Can't be me. It cannot be me. Anyways, I started Mexican Gothic. It's Thursday, by the way. Did I mention that? It's been a few days, but it's Thursday. I started Mexican Gothic, and I'm liking it. I am 70% of the way through, I think. Some stuff just happened, and it was really starting to freak me out a little bit. Like, usually I'm not a fan of, like, super wordy descriptions of, like, not people, you know? But I'm really vibing with it in this story. Like, I get the whole, like, Gothic vibes from this. But it's kind of freaking me out a little bit now, especially to the point where I'm at. Like, I was reading it at night, and last night I was just like, oh, dang, am I going to have nightmares? I did dream about the book, but luckily it wasn't, like, super scary, and I don't really remember much of it anyway. But anyways, I'm enjoying Mexican Gothic so far. I'm hoping to finish it up today, so I will update y'all when I do. But now I'm just going to go ahead and put away all my filming equipment. Ooh, it's a lot of light. And I'll catch y'all a little bit later. Hello. It is Saturday. I am really bad at vlogging. I also am really bad at this challenge because I'm like struggling to finish off reading these books. I don't get how there are some booktubers who read 5+ books in like a week and do these challenges in a week. I can't. So I'm kind of struggling, but I did finish Mexican Gothic. Did I tell you guys about that already? I can't remember if I updated y'all about Mexican Gothic, but I finished Mexican Gothic. I really enjoyed it. I'd give it like 4.25 stars, and it had me stressed. It had me so stressed. I will say though, I'm still thinking about this. I might need to read some reviews and see what other people are saying, but I'm not quite sure what Silvia Moreno-Garcia was trying to say about eugenics in this book. Like, I get it. Like, obviously eugenics is bad, and the book is saying that as well. But I'm just wondering, as far as the whole story goes, it just kind of seemed like white people are trifling a little bit, you know, which... But, yeah, I don't know. It was interesting, but I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to read more from Silvia Moreno-Garcia. I really want to read Gods of Jade and Shadow. I've heard a lot of good things about that. So, yeah. Now I'm going to return back to The Vanishing Half, I believe. And I just have that and the Midnight Library left. And I know the Midnight Library is short. So... I will be, hopefully, I don't know, I want to say this weekend. I do have, like, Monday off because of MLK Day, but I don't know. I started a new K-drama, so that's kind of taking up my time right now. And I have a bunch of videos that I need to edit, so I just have not been reading or even in the mood to read. I don't know, like I said, I've been in a very much, I want like something like plot heavy and world building heavy, and none of the books left for this challenge are that. So that's a bit of a struggle, but I'm hoping to finish it off soon. Dear God, I hope so. Good morning. It is very early. It's like 7:30 in the morning. I have a morning class. I don't know why I decided to vlog like right at this moment, but I haven't updated y'all in a few days. Anyways, I finished The Vanishing Half like almost a week ago at this point, and I ended up liking it. I gave it 4 stars. I was not feeling like the first like 130 pages of the book. I was kind of like, this is maybe a little bit too slow for me. And then once it started going to like Jude's perspective and following all of the diverging perspectives, I started to really like it. And I think like the middle 200 pages are the strongest parts. The ending was not my favorite. I don't know. It just kind of like felt like an abrupt end. It felt very rushed comparatively to the pacing of the rest of the book. So I don't know. I think I wanted a little more out of the ending, and yeah, didn't get that, but it's fine. Ultimately, like, I really, really enjoyed that middle 200, so it kind of balances out. So it's like a 4 star, I think. I was thinking about it for a while. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this book, but 4 stars, whatever, it's pretty good. The last book that I have is The Midnight Library, which I have started, and I'm like 40% of the way through. I'm just like struggling with this last bit of this video. I'm just like finding myself feeling like I'm going into a reading slump, and I think it's just because I really want to read other things, and I need to finish the books for this video first. So I'm kind of just like dragging this along, but then by doing that, I'm not going to be able to get to the books that I do want to read. But anyways, The Midnight Library is okay so far. I don't really know how I feel about it, but yeah, I don't really have any thoughts right now. Anyways, I'm going to go drink some coffee and go to my class because that's what I need to do. I'm very tired. Anyway, bye. Hello, I'm in my bathroom right now because I'm getting ready for my day. So hopefully I'll transform this crustiness into like slightly less crusty. Basically, I finished reading the books for this video, and I wanted to just do like a last wrap up, talk about the Midnight Library, and then just kind of like wrap everything up. So I finished the Midnight Library yesterday, and it was fine. I felt like, I don't know, kind of bored most of the book. I will say, like, I like the like ending half better than the first half. I think overall I'd probably give it like 3.5 stars. I like the message, you know, you just gotta be you. You just gotta live, and like regardless of the choices that you make, like you're gonna be unhappy with something, you know? Like there's no total happiness, there's no total perfect life. Like you just have to keep on living, basically. And yeah, I like that. I will say I got a little emotional at the end. But overall, like, it was fine. I wasn't, like, super wowed by this book. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still thinking about The Vanishing Half. I just don't know, like, I don't know what I want to say about it. I don't really know what I think about it. I mean, I did like it, but I don't know. I think this is something I might need to reread in the future. I just need to think about it a lot more. So overall, I read 5 books. So I started off this video reading from Blood and Ash, from Fire and Ash. I don't know why I can't. I think maybe I'm confusing the first book and the second book, but I read the first book in that series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I gave that one 3 stars. It was ridiculous. I mean, what can I say? But I had a thoroughly good time reading it, so enjoyment factor, I'd probably give it like a 5. But like actual quality, substance-wise, plot, all of the above, like it's a 3. But I enjoyed the heck out of it. Then I read, what did I read? Oh, okay. Then I read The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and that was the winner for best like mystery thriller, and I give that 4 stars. Once again, I started it off and I was like, I don't know where Miss Foley is going with this. I'm not seeing the vision, but then like the 40-50% mark hit and I was like, I see the vision. I see the vision right now. I am on a roller coaster. I read this as a buddy read with a few of my friends and we were talking about it, and a lot of people had the same thoughts about the beginning being slow and kind of like but I feel like it was necessary, even though I also didn't really enjoy the beginning of the book that much, but it felt necessary in order to like have everything come together at the end. And so while I didn't enjoy it, it was also necessary. Like I understood how it all came together and it was needed for it to like really hit at the end. So there's that. Then I read Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. That was the Goodreads winner for horror, and I also gave that one 4 stars. I really liked it. I thought the pacing was pretty even. I know a lot of people like had mixed thoughts about the pacing because the first half is very much that slow, gothic, atmospheric kind of writing, and then like it gets super like plot heavy towards the end and kind of amps up. But I liked that. I don't know, like it felt like a natural progression rather than unevenly paced. I really like the writing. I honestly thought that I was not gonna enjoy this one because I don't like a lot of details about the surroundings, and that's usually what Gothic horror is. And there was a lot of that in Mexican Gothic as well, but I don't know, it really worked for me. I really like it. Maybe I should give Gothic horror more of a try, but I think where Mexican Gothic kind of got bogged down was in that overwriting of the atmosphere of the surroundings, and we never got a sense of really who Noemi was as a character. It was a lot of telling and not showing, and I would have liked to get a better sense of who she was, like from a deeper perspective. But overall, I really enjoyed the story. I definitely want a physical copy of that one as well. I really liked it. Next, I read The Vanishing Half, and I gave that one 4 stars. I already talked about this a little bit, but the first like 150 pages, I was just not vibing. I actually like paused in the middle and went and read Mexican Gothic and then came back to it. The middle 200 pages were really where this book shined for me. I really liked it once it started diverging into the other generations and other perspectives. But like I mentioned before, I didn't really enjoy the ending. I felt very rushed, and I don't think it really like wrapped itself up well. Not that it needed to be like wrapped up in a neat little bow. Obviously, like it's about the real world and life and racism and colorism and all of these things. Like, there's not gonna be a happy ending or like a wrapped up neat ending for what this book was trying to do, but I think just like thematically I felt like the ending didn't wrap itself up well. Like, I don't know, I don't want to go into it because I don't want to give spoilers, but I don't know, if you've read this book, let me know what you think. It just felt like a little flat, like it just like was abruptly ended, and I wanted more out of the ending. But overall, I'd give it 4 stars. I thought it was really well written, and I am definitely interested in reading The Mothers by Bennett, especially since I bought it, so I should read it. Anyways, and then finally, I read The Midnight Library by Haig. Definitely heavy on the magical realism aspect of this book, and yeah, I mean, I already talked about it at the beginning of this part of the video, but yeah, 3.5 stars. It was fine, but I can see why people would really like it. Do I think it should have won over, say, Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid? No. Which is the only one that I read from that the Midnight Library won in the just like general fiction category, and anyway. As far as like, should these have won its respective categories? Mexican Gothic, that was the only book in that genre that I've read as far as what was nominated, and I really enjoyed it, so I mean, I don't see why not. And I'm glad to see that an author of color won that category, especially considering Stephen King was also nominated. As far as romance goes, definitely not. I think Take a Hint, Nanny Brown should have won, but it is what it is. And then historical fiction, again, I haven't read anything else in that category, and I think The Vanishing Half was well written, so why not? And thriller, again, I haven't really read anything else in that category, and I don't know, I really enjoyed the guest list. I thought it was a wild ride, and I'm definitely interested in reading more from Lucy Foley, so we'll see. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for this video. Wow, we did it. It only took me 3 weeks to get through this, but that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, sorry that I'm ending this off. I thought I was gonna like do my makeup, but then I just got distracted by talking. So you're just gonna end with me looking crusty in this video. Whatever, it is what it is. I will check y'all in the next video. I'll have everything that you need to know linked down below, and see ya.